I want to talk a little bit about what Self-Love Power Funk is and what I hope to inspire in you through this experience. I believe that self-love is, to learn to love yourself is the greatest fucking gift that you can give the world. It's the greatest fucking gift you can give the world. Joe Dispenza says, when our cup is full, it overflows. There's nowhere that you will turn than to give your goods, your goodness, your joy, your creativity, than to those around us, to your loved ones, to strangers whom you smile at on the street a little bit more sincerely, feeling a little bit more okay in yourself. When we're empty or there's holes in our cup, we really struggle to be able to, give sustainably. If not, we are trying to get something, security from the outside world. This is the illusion we get really stuck in, and we could say, oh, it's capitalism, consumerism. It's like, no, it's reflecting back within us something that we are certainly vulnerable to doing and have the radical responsibility, the personal responsibility to learn that it's not out there. It's in here. It's in here. It's in each and every one of you and us. You are the tap to the love that you are seeking. You are the tap to the safety that you are seeking. You are the tap to the validation that you're seeking. And there's no judgment, there's no shame in this. This is a part of our journey, our evolution. And what I'm inviting you to step into is to realize that instead of looking out there for it, we find it in here. And that it's actually not a selfish thing, you know? We're so hung up and convinced and conditioned to believe that I got to go out there and make something of myself out there, or even to give to someone before I give to myself. I know there are a lot of wounded healers in this room, myself included. We love to give. We're human beings. We love to give. We care so deeply, of course. Of course. But we're really, really remarkably adept at running around the airplane trying to put on everyone else's mask while we are gasping for air. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know it's not sustainable. And so my invitation is, when we talk about self-love, and what we're cultivating here is an opportunity to turn towards yourself, accept and embrace all of you, and learn to create, realize that you have the capacity to create infinitely from within yourself the fucking incredible human being and spirit that you are, and that you get to go share that with people. Like, when your cup is full and you get to share it, it becomes a virtuous cycle. I'm full as fuck right now, and I get to share it with you, and not to signal virtue or anything, but just to demonstrate that in sharing it, I'm building myself further. And so when we fill from the inside and then we give to those around us, we're actually deepening what we need more than anything right now, which is to truly see each other and to truly connect and to truly embrace our interdependence. But we are a gestalt. We are a sum. Our whole is greater than the sum of our parts. And we get to show up more whole as a part, contributing to the sum that we are. So I invite you in this space to contemplate and move through some of the resistance that I know we all carry to tending to ourselves, to being kind to ourselves, to letting go of the limiting beliefs that keep us small and safe, but actually keep us in struggle and suffering. The invitation here is for you to heal, and what a fucking gift, what an opportunity. It doesn't have to be for anybody else but you, and the truth is that it's actually a gift to those around you as much as it is to yourself. I make my case. Power. There's no love without power. Martin Luther King Jr. said that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power without love is reckless and abusive. Love on its own is beautiful, but it's not the only force. If we're flowery and fluffy and accepting, there's resignation to that. You can love, but you cannot actualize change and evolution and emergence until you find and cultivate power. And I'm not talking about power over, I'm not talking about greed, I'm not talking about manipulation or abuse. All of these arise when the love is not there to balance. I'm talking about power, the moment where you realize you have lost track of the breath, what you were focusing on, intending to focus on, and you realize, wow, my conditioning, my survival, my brilliant, brilliant survival brain has pulled me over to these intoxicating thoughts about this and that and how they did that. And wow, it's so fun over here, but I'm so lost in the fucking sauce. And when you realize, wow, I actually don't have to be lost in the sauce. I don't have to be lost in reactivity. I don't have to be lost in the small stories and the constriction and the staying small and the you're the bad guy and I'm the good guy and all the shit that we tell ourselves. When you choose to come back, as simply put as that, when you choose to come back to the breath, that's power. And you all have that. You all have that muscle. We're going to flex it here today. You have the power to choose. Choose differently, to respond to the world, to respond to life. There's no self-love without power because our conditioning, our survival brains will keep us small. They will keep us in self-loathing. They will keep us in self-criticism. And it's in those moments where we recognize, wow, I'm not willing to perpetuate this pattern anymore. I'm going to choose, even though it's difficult sometimes. It's difficult. And no matter, we're all in different stages in our journey. It might be more difficult for you to tend and imagine and cultivate and create and choose a little bit of love, a little bit of tenderness, and directing that to yourself. But every time we do, we build the muscle. And the more that we choose, the more that we love. So there's no love without power that builds it, that nourishes it, that grows it. I feel so fucking inspired by Grizz and LS Dream and some of these incredible, incredible artists who, if you stand in the stands at a Red Rock show and you just recognize the fucking power that they have on their stage to address 10,000 people and to travel the country and to share, it's like, holy shit. And the way that they steward their power for good has really, really touched me. I'm so honored, and there's so many incredible teachers and guides, Grizz included, that are such a part of inspiring this. And it's so important I think it's essential to not just saving this, there's a bigger picture here, not just saving this sinking ship, and this ship is sinking. The ship is sinking. And I don't mean to scare you, but I also mean to be fucking honest that the ship is sinking. And I think it's so painful when we see shit hit the fan down the street and we want desperately to help and we care and we want to change things. And we get really stuck trying to change things out there when in reality, I believe, and I encourage you to consider that the most incredible, impactful change that you can contribute to, not just allowing the ship to stay afloat, but maybe to fucking float and start to thrive and flourish. That's what we're aiming for here right now. Right now, we're on the precipice of let's just fucking get through this shit right now. But I think that there's something much better. And the invitation is to realize that the greatest gift contribution that you can make is to really turn inward and turn that fucking faucet on. And every time it turns off, turn it back on. Because then once you fill up and you overflow, all you want to do is give. Giving feels so fucking good. And giving is not just an act of generosity for those around you, it's an act of generosity for yourself. Everybody benefits. But when we give from a place of emptiness, we struggle to survive. So I encourage you in this space to give generously to yourself. Here together. This is a solo project in an interdependent space. So I really want to articulate that connection because it's so important that we don't get stuck into the near enemies, as they call it in Buddhism, of self-love, which can be the ego or the protective or the stories or the separation. That's not self-love. Self-love includes all of it. You can take the self off if you want to. Love's all going to the same place. It's all the same love. So I invite you in this space to, bring fucking all of yourself. Let all of yourself be seen and heard and cherished and loved here in community, but most importantly, by your own attention and intention. So I hope that the meditation that we do here in a moment is really going to start to, maybe for the first time, flick some of the remembrance of what's possible in how you can relate to yourself and how you can start to cultivate that. And that the music, the sounds, the lyrics are going to embed in you better messages than fucking drunk in the club, whatever the bullshit is that we listen to that doesn't really help us love ourselves better. It helps us get drunker and repress and push away and get further away from self-love. Let this be an invitation to open you to what's possible within you and within us. And the funk, we just get to have fucking fun. Like, this life is such a gift. It's short. It might not last another day. So enjoy it. Let's enjoy it.